Hi, it's me, Leon. Welcome to my channel. So we're here to discuss about the deck that I use most of the time when I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and it's the Dark Magician. It's a popular archetype because it utilizes the ace monster of the first anime main protagonist, which is, Yugi, or the unnamed pharaoh. So let's talk about the core monsters of the deck. First is the Dark Magician, which is a level 7 normal monster. It's a spellcaster. He doesn't have any effects, but most of the cards rely on him, either having him as a fusion material or for other summoning methods, or he is needed on the field for a card to be activated. The second card is the Illusion of Chaos, which is a ritual monster and can be summoned by Secrets of Dark Magic if you wish to. But most of the time, you don't use him as that. It's a consistency piece. It's like a Rhoda for the Dark Magician. So what you do is you reveal him from your hand and you search for a monster, the Dark Magician, or anything that mentions him. And what you do is you get that card and you return one card from your hand to the top of your deck. The second effect does not come out often, but you could use it once you have summoned him as a monster effect negate. So let's talk about the main MVPs, I believe, on this deck. First is the Magician Souls, which is basically a free Dark Magician summon. What it does is it sends a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician girl to the graveyard as a cost. And what you do is you send this card to the graveyard, and then you summon either the Dark Magician or the Dark Magician girl. Or you could also special summon itself. What it does when it's on the field is it lets you send up to 2 spells or traps from your hand or field to the graveyard, and you draw the same number of cards. This way, if you're using like a floodgate control deck, if you have skill drain on the field, you could actually send this skill drain to the graveyard, and then you could combo off once you have like the rod or something. So basically you shut down your opponent, and when it's your time to combo off, you could just send the skill drain to the graveyard. Very sick card, I believe. And the second one is the Magician's Rod. What it does is it searches most of the Dark Magician spell and trap support. And what I usually do is I use it to search for the Soul Servant. And you could recycle this card back to your hand if you send it to the graveyard. So what I usually do is I normal summon the Magician's Rod, and then I link it off to Artemis. And then with the Soul Servant set, I could activate the Soul Servant on my opponent's turn, and that will trigger the rod's ability. I'll sacrifice the Artemis to let the rod come back to my hand. So that's how I usually use the Magician's Rod. All right, so let's talk about the spells for the Dark Magician deck. So first one is, let's start with the strongest one, which is the Soul Servant. So what it does, it places one card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So it basically top decks it, and it needs to list like a Dark Magician or Dark Magician girl on its name. So from its unassuming effect, it doesn't seem very strong, but what it does is first it lets you run one-off spells. So you could just place one copy of Dark Magical Circle, Magician Salvation, and Eternal Soul, because you could recycle them when they get destroyed using the Soul Servant. And on top of that, once you use Soul Servant on your main phase, you could banish this card and you draw cards equal to the number of Palladium monsters, Dark Magician, or Dark Magician girl. So if you're running Dark Magician only, minimum 1. But if you're running Dark Magician or Dark Magician girl, you'll be able to draw 2. It also makes the Palladium deck work because the Palladium's effect lets you special summon it once you draw it. And using the Soul Servant, you could actually top deck the Palladium and you could trigger its effect. So this is a very strong card. It's deceptively strong. You could even chain it to Upstart Goblin or Dark Magical Circle to let you choose what you draw. So this card is really strong. Next one is Dark Magical Circle. So it has an effect wherein if you summon a Dark Magician, you could target one card from your opponent's field and you banish it. So it's a targeting banish effect once per turn. And also if it's activated, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You could reveal like a Dark Magician or a spell or trap that specifically lists Dark Magician, and you could add it to your hand. So it's also good. It usually combos with the Eternal Soul. So you have like a once per turn banish loop. You link off the Dark Magician using I'm Duck. You summon it on your opponent's turn, and then you banish with a circle, something something like that. And the last one is Secrets of Dark Magic. So it lets you fuse monsters in your battle phase. You could also use this to ritual summon the illusion of chaos. And what I usually do is I use this on the battle phase to add more pressure on the opponent's life points. So for example, I attack with a rod and the dark magician, then I fuse it with the illusion of chaos on my hand or a dark magician on my dark magician girl on my hand so that I could put more pressure on the opponent. You could also dodge targeting effects because this is a quick play spell. So once they target like a rod, you could secrets it with the dark magician, so you fuse it so it doesn't get targeted like by effect veiler or infinite impermanence. But you can't dodge ash, unfortunately. Let's talk about the other support cards for Dark Magician. And the first one is the Magician's Salvation, which is the field spell. What it does is it sets the Eternal Soul from the deck, and then it also allows you to summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl by targeting the one on your field. So if, for example, you have a Dark Magician on your field and you have a Dark Magician Girl on the graveyard, you could target it, the Dark Magician on the field, to summon the Dark Magician Girl. It also works vice versa. If the Dark Magician Girl is the one on your field, you could target it and then summon the Dark Magician from your graveyard. If you don't find any use of it, you could, worst case, summon the Magician's Souls and then send this card to the graveyard to draw one. So you could still net a draw from it. And then the next card is the Eternal Soul, which protects your Dark Magician in your monster zone. So if your opponent tries to target your Dark Magician or tries to destroy it, you could flip this open to protect the Dark Magician. And once per turn, you could also summon a Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard to the field. And it works very well with the Dark Magical Circle. So you could recycle the Dark Magician by linking it off with I'm Duck and then resummon it on your opponent's turn so you could disrupt whatever he's doing. But it has a huge drawback because once it leaves the field, all of your monsters get destroyed. So use it wisely. So here's a simple combo if you're going first and you're using the Dark Magician with the Dark Magician Girl. So for example, you have Rod and Souls on your hand. You activate the Souls effect to summon the Dark Magician. And with Dark Magician on the field, you normal summon the Rod, activate its effect, and search for bond between teacher and student. You then activate the bond between teacher and student. It lets you summon the Dark Magician Girl and set a dark burning magic on your field, and you pass the turn. And on your opponent's turn, you can then activate the dark burning magic to blow up your opponent's board mid combo or whenever you want. And once, assuming they have no plays after that, you could just then link off the three of them, like the Rod, the Dark Magician, and the Dark Magician Girl, to Blackluster Soldier of Chaos on your turn. Let's explore some going second combos this time. So, assuming you have Magician's Rod and Magician's Souls on your hand and Illusion of Chaos, you could activate the Souls effect to summon Dark Magician. With the Dark Magician on the field, you normal summon the Rod, activate its effect, and search for Secrets of Dark Magic. You then attack with the Magician's Rod and your Dark Magician on the battle phase. And once they're done attacking, you could activate Secrets of Dark Magic within the battle phase to fuse them to Master of Chaos. Master of Chaos revives the Dark Magician that was used for the fusion summon, and Master of Chaos gets to attack, and the revived Dark Magician gets to attack too. So that's one. And if you have Dark Magician Girl instead of Illusion of Chaos on your hand, you could do the similar thing. Activate the Soul's effect to summon the Dark Magician, summon the Rod, search for secrets, go to your battle phase and attack with the Rod and the Dark Magician. And then you could use secrets to fuse the Dark Magician with the Dark Magician Girl on your hand to summon the Dark Magicians instead, and then attack. And then it allows you to have some draw once your opponent activates spell or trap cards. And it's perfect when you're running floodgate stuff or control, because it also lets you draw when you use spells or traps. So that's some of the combos. So let's explore some of the spicier stuff. So this is quite a specific combo. If your opponent has a dark attribute monster on the graveyard and activated 2 spells on his turn, and those spells are on the graveyard, you're going second. And you also have Rod and Souls on your hand, you could do this combo. So first thing you do is you activate the Souls effect to summon the Dark Magician from the graveyard. So, and then you normal summon the rod to get the dark magical circle. And then once you link off the rod and the dark magician to form dark, the dark charmer, the dark's effect summons a monster from the opponent's graveyard. It has to be a dark monster, and it special summons it to the zone that he points onto. So you could then link off dark and that monster to Celine. And then you can activate the circle to add the third spell counter for Celine's effect. And then you remove 3 spell counters from Celine to summon the Dark Magician. It then triggers the circle, so you get to banish 1 card from your opponent's field. And then you could then link off the Dark Magician and Celine to form the access code to finish the game. If you already have like a ton of budget or you have some cards, you could then improve your Dark Magician deck using these engines. Personally, I just use 2 of them, but here's what I think is the most popular ones. First one is the branded engine and the Dogmatica. The Flatgate control is the one that I use, and on some point I also use super polymerization when I got into the higher rank. So yeah, I'll also pin this on the description. Some of the articles that I know that could help you, so you could have some reading materials on to check on how you're gonna improve your Dark Magician. Thank you for watching, and if it helped you in any way, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.